everybody, and welcome to the CCA League Season 3 Semifinals. Man, it has been quite the journey to get here. I am DRF, joined by Kyode for this Division 6 showdown that we have for you all today. We will be seeing NAUtical out of Northern Arizona University taking on Wet Cod Empire from SUNY Polytechnic Institute in New York. Man, Kyode, it's been quite the journey to get here, but the playoffs have arrived, and I am so excited to transition to these best of 9 matchups.
I am really excited here as well. Both of these teams fighting through their respective Division 6 matchups to get to where they are here, and now they're here in semifinals. Win this best of 9 set, you'll make it to finals all the way through. And it's some slight adjustments. You got to win one more map now to clinch a set, but I'm sure both teams know the stakes.
I'm sure they do. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here with game number 1, Clam Blitz on Flounder Heights. Kyode, what could we possibly be seeing out of these teams here?
So, of course, with Flounder Heights Clam Blitz, don't be surprised if we see any sloshers out there on the field like we just saw one right now from Will. Will the slosh into existence? Always a very popular choice in Flounder Heights, given the height of this particular map in general. So NAUtical here, I believe, will have that Trine Nouveau handy there. So great pick overall. I'll also be excited to see how both teams how they approach this Clam Blitz map altogether.
Absolutely, seeing an early battle here. As we do see Wet Cod Empire in the bluish purple and NAUtical in the yellow. It's going to be a bit of an early skirmish here as we do see two down on either side, and these two teams just trying to establish some positioning here, but it's certainly, you know, a bit of a scrappy start for both of these teams as no one's really gaining an upper hand here, because both teams kind of lose a player, have to back up a little bit, just continue to take these 1v1s in mid. No advantage in the first minute.
I like the fact that both these teams just trying to play it cautious, trying to get assert any control mid, build up those clams to get the power clam on hand there, and it's very smart play overall, just trying to get a good feel for each other here and see where can this push start happening. And Wet Cod Empire, they got themselves a power clam already jumping down, and they're cashing in on this first one, but the follow-up's going to be all over the board here, and it might be slightly behind. So even though they got that quick power clam cashed in, it's looking to be a one and done for that push.
Yeah, it certainly is, and with 3 players going down here, this could be an opportunity for NAUtical to respond, but it is Wet Cod Empire who strikes first. So the one and done does give them that early advantage here, because we've seen both of these teams just struggle in this opening minute and a half to really get strong positioning. And take a look at this. It's Wet Cod Empire that looks ready to fight back already with another push. But do they have the clams in their pockets to make it happen? We do see Magna here with 7 to their name, but will they be able to get that 8th? They need someone to pass them a clam, but Magna's gonna have to hang low a little bit. Finally gonna grab that 8th clam, gonna start to pop this Booyah Bomb to open things up underneath the basket.
Really?
The triple ink strike's gonna help that out as well. So that will be the basket plus 10 points to the score.
So nicely done by Magna, getting all the 7, and actually, that even though the 3 is going to drop there, it's going to stop the push, but I like the play coming out of Wet Cod Empire. They take out 3, Magna had all the clams there, so instead of trying to rush in and trying to go for the push, they played very patiently, trying to get both of the pathways cleared out and all the specials farmed in. Once they realized that they got something going on, the plan got passed over to Magna. Magna throws out the Booyah Bomb, and then the triple ink strike followed suit, and it was just a really nice push. But it's only down to 64 points remaining, and 2 going down on the side of NAUtical. So we're back to this whole skirmishing down mid with both teams dropping 2.
Oh, and what is this? Wait.
What?
It looked like Gick managed to sneak on through there to get a power clam in, and they were able to top it off, maybe I think with one more clam. So that is going to be another quick push out of Wet Cod Empire, and again they find themselves 3 down. So this finally might be the opportunity for NAUtical to make their move, get their first basket of the game. There is a power clam in store for them. Can they get it in? Yes, they will, but they are going to lose 3 players at the same time. So there's only 1 player left. It's going to be the 52 in Soda that gets shut down, and the power clam goes down with them.
So they had a bright idea trying to taking out 3 members from Wet Cod Empire. Rest of NAUtical realizing that was the go button, but just a little slow in the way of that push developing, and it pretty much just led to to that push getting shut down. Yes, it's one and done. The deficit now is still manageable though for NAUtical, but NAUtical needs to find some of these fights and then of course get those clams built up so they can get that push started on their own. Wet Cod Empire, they know their win condition. They're ahead very fast, but even though they have that power clam spawn and they may be looking for a very aggressive push, the crab goes down!
And they have 17 clams today. They had a little bit more than that, actually. They will get this power clam in. That's going to add 9 more points to the board. But they have the change to just pile on in to this basket, bringing the score all the way down to 15 remaining. And this Junior continuing to find a couple of clams and a couple of picks. This is now very dangerous territory for NAUtical, as they are 3 clams away from a knockout. It does not look like those clams are going to be there in time, so they live for another 30 seconds. It looks like they will see out the full 5 minutes of this game, but they have quite the mountain to climb, Kyon.
That is a huge mountain to climb, especially because all they have is just the 1 power clam back at spawn. They have to start farming up more now, but look at Wet Cod Empire. They're starting to realize that NAUtical's having to play a lot more desperate. They take out 3 members. Wet Cod Empire in the driver's seat for this one, DRF. They're shutting down NAUtical's chances. They're just picking up the power clam right now just to have any chances left, but it's 2 down on NAUtical, DRF. Looking very good for Wet Cod, but they dropped 3. They're wiped out!
This is their opportunity. They now have overtime. They've used about half of it to shut down that push, and now they need to very quickly just paint as much as they can and get this power clam in the basket. They're gonna go for a Hail Mary. They do get it in, but do they have the follow-up? 2 players are gonna go down. It looks like this Carbon is gonna make a move towards the basket. Fast is gonna get shut down as well, and this basket will close up, and it will be Wet Cod Empire who takes game number 1.
A little dicey, but not as dicey as it could have been. Wet Cod Empire built themselves a strong lead thanks to one sneaky push that I think we couldn't catch there, but of course catching the other pushes there. NAUtical losing 3 or 4 each time, and you kind of got the sense that Wet Cod Empire are taking full advantage as much as they can and asserting all that control. It was very clear from after I think the first minute that, hey, we're going to continue building on this lead, and we're going to make sure NAUtical has no chance to come back.
Oh, certainly. I mean, they were so ready for that. They just were fast and aggressive early on. I mean, we saw a little bit of that stalemate, but once it finally broke open for Wet Cod Empire, they were able to just score so quickly and just put that game out of reach. It was certainly going to be a very tough task for NAUtical, but they did a fantastic job of making sure that they at least gave themselves a chance there in overtime, but ultimately are going to fall a little bit short.
They needed a lot more power clams, and even some smaller ones too, to swing that around. But it was just a tall order for NAUtical, and that's pretty much how Wet Cod Empire gets this first one. I'm gonna go ahead and say we got ourselves the second map queued up here, DRF, which is Mako Mart Splat Zones, and I kind of like this map overall for Mako Mart Zones, even with the 1 large zone here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more focus on some of the more longer range weapons that either of these teams play. But at the same time, though, the Hydra has been there for Wet Cod Empire, so I could see that again.
I definitely would anticipate that as well. I think the Hydra would come in useful here, especially with that Booyah Bomb to be able to cover some turf a lot more easily. I think it is worth noting that going into this game that NAUtical does have the slight favor in splat zones. Both teams right around that 500 mark, about a game difference between them. NAUtical 4-3 in splat zones this season, Wet Cod Empire 3-4. So this one is really going to be a toss-up here, Kyon.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm getting some interesting senses here from NAUtical. I had to take a quick look at their weapons. That, I believe, is double rollers and double splash mags, but different varieties. So I'm getting the sense with NAUtical that they're going to play very aggressive in this entire push, trying to push up ahead and make sure Wet Cod Empire has no chance to set. And as you mentioned, the Hydra's there and also the Sasha Machine, so Wet Cod Empire has double Booyah Bombs. Both teams have traded 1 apiece there. It looks like Wet Cod Empire, they're going to get the control right away.
Yeah, but very quickly this triple link drag is going to force the neutral, possibly the zone flip, but Wet Cod Empire doing a fantastic job of holding position here, but the Carbon is going to get behind them and is able to pick off 2, going to find the 3rd as well, and sorry, that wasn't even the Carbon, it was the Flings that made the move there, so now it's just the Machine who's going to somehow also just flip this zone single-handedly. I mean, what is the chaos of this game right now?
This is absolute chaos. I do absolutely agree. We expected the Carbon, but hey, the Flingza is playing its best Carbon role impression. But even though the Flingza got a few, they couldn't take control of it right away. The Sasha Machine pretty much put an end to that one. Okay, now I've spoken about it a lot there, and now NAUtical has control to get that going. And yeah, also, I believe the Rapid Blaster dropped there as well. So NAUtical, they do get that zone flipped, and they were at least putting the enforcing the penalty points there, but 3 down on the side of NAUtical. Wetcott Empire back in the driver's seat again for the zone.
Oh man, I mean, Wetcott Empire just continuing to just extend this fantastic start that we've seen out of them in this game and in this set, really able to take 2 more down there. They're going to be out of their penalty here and adding more points to the board. They're really starting to put themselves into potential knockout territory here with the way that they played this early game.
Absolutely. This has been a very good early game here from Wetcott Empire, and especially with NAUtical continuing to drop members. There are 2 of them going down, and now the Void Bomb is going to be coming out here shortly, DRF. It's just going to completely pressure out NAUtical from making any advances in. NAUtical has to play a lot more desperate here in order to at least quit the zone. If they can find a few picks here, which it doesn't look like NAUtical can, and Wetcott Empire, they're going to take this home with a KO here, DRF.
Wow, I mean,
yes,
definitely not what I think we expected coming into this match. Just taking a look at the overall records of these 2 teams, Kyo, like we were chatting about it. NAUtical, they've lost 5 games. 5 individual games this entire season. And they were looking to be very strong contenders coming into these playoffs against Wetcott Empire, who was rocking that 3-2 set record, in addition to a 14-13 individual game record. And Wetcott Empire just showed up here and said, screw your records, like this is a whole new team and we are ready to kick some butt, and kicking butt they have done in game 1 and 2.
I mean, Wetcott Empire trying to rewrite the entire script. Well, show up when it matters the most, and of course, you better show up when come playoff time. NAUtical has not been used to a situation where they've been down already with 2-0. In fact, you elaborate that they've only dropped 5 maps. 3 of those sets were 4-0s against their respective oppositions here, DRF. So they've had 2 very close sets, but it's been very dominant for NAUtical. Wetcott Empire is just throwing everything at NAUtical, and NAUtical just doesn't have much time to respond. Yeah,
it's crazy. But if you're gonna be banking on NAUtical in any game, I would do it right here. NAUtical coming into the playoffs with a perfect 7-0 record in tower control games. They have been flawless on this mode so far, but now with a new map for tower control, Museum d'Alfonsina, we have not yet seen this combination so far in the regular season. Will they be able to extend the momentum that they have created for themselves in this tower control mode?
That's going to be the key thing here. If they're able to take home this tower control mode, this could be the greatest time to shine. And just to make sure, DRF, you mentioned that NAUtical is 7-0 in tower control, or is that Wetcott Empire?
No, NAUtical is 7-0. So okay, this is going to be their opportunity to come back.
Absolutely. So NAUtical, if you're 7-0 in tower control, this is likely your best mode, and this is a great time to definitely swing momentum in your direction. Of course, you dropped the first 2 maps, but there's still plenty of maps to go through. This is a best of 9 after all, so this is gonna be the map where this is our best mode so far. We're gonna make sure that we can take this one home, and of course, Wetcott Empire, they're gonna try to put an end to that. DRFS, we're about to load in.
Absolutely, you know, they're gonna really just try to break that perfect streak. This is NAUtical's best mode, but taking a look at the compositions here, a couple of fun additions coming on in, some blasters on either side. Unfortunately, no opening gambit. I think, you know, we haven't reached that stage of the meta quite yet.
Yeah, I was wondering about all that, all things considered. I like the change. Well, as soon as I like the change from NAUtical, it's just an absolute brawl in the tower there. I do like the change to the range blast. You've got the wave breaker and a lot more range to try to counteract this counter Wet Cod Empire's play, but Wet Cod Empire is sticking to a similar script here. I believe I'm seeing the Spider Scope or the they're being used on Wet Cod Empire, or just the regular Splat Charger. I gotta look at that closely. Wet Cod Empire is just pushing right up ahead. Wet Cod Empire is just trying to throw NAUtical off, and they're just not ready yet, but this looks like the push is gonna stop right here with a wipeout.
Oh, a great stop right on time. You know, you let that first checkpoint go. You didn't even let them make any progress on that second checkpoint. If you're going to get the stop, that was the right place to have it. But take a look at this blast. They're going to be trying to make a flank here, but no, it's not going to be any good. It's going to be just the charger that's standing once again for Wet Cod Empire, but nobody's riding the tower. Soda is the only one that's even near it right now. They're going to have to try to hop on. They're doing a fantastic job of pressing up, but no one's riding the tower.
Where is NAUtical on this tower push? The Sloshing Machine is gonna be on a one-man mission to push the tower on their own. NAUtical did not look like they were ready. I just saw the Trizuka double there, which should have enabled a push in theory to get this one going, but as you mentioned, nobody anywhere near the tower. Where's the communication on that one? Wet Cod Empire was also able to sneak one in, the Sloshing Machine that is, and as a result, this push is still stuck in neutral.
It is, I really hate to phrase this as a missed opportunity for NAUtical, but I think that's actually what this is. They just completely miscommunicated there. Got a little bit excited at the prospect of the opportunity at their feet, and were not able to capitalize on it, as Vactal is going to come in here with a triple and not going to be able to complete the quad there, as Wet Cod Empire continues to hold on to this tower, but Fast going to come in and shut this one down. Trying to get the second player. Yes, they will. Looking for the third. Fast with a triple now. It's all triples left and right for NAUtical, but they still do not hold this lead, as now they will have to another opportunity here to turn their focus towards this objective. And my goodness, the Trizuka as well. NAUtical is coming to life here.
NAUtical has finally remembered that the tower exists, and we can take advantage in this triple. A great punish as well on the carpet roller. We're going to see a lead change here, what should be a lead change, and it will be. On to the second checkpoint, and NAUtical's going to break through this one. They've remembered here, not DRF. The tower is actually a thing you should push, and they're taking full advantage of this one with a triple there. This push is going to get stalled with a blaster takeout, and then, of course, the wipe out there to follow suit. But Wet Cod Empire, nice hold, but NAUtical, man alive, they took advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, you can't help but think, you know, what sort of lead they would have had if they had capitalized the first time. But it doesn't even matter, as NAUtical continues to come to life here in game number 3, as they get another wipeout. So now I think they basically righted every single wrong that they have had in this game and are in full control, as Fast once again is going to be going on a tear here. And no, they're going to finally get shut down, but the lead continues to extend as Whale on the Crab continues to survive here. Finally going to get shut down. 24 remaining, as NAUtical comes up big here in the second half of this game. And they're looking to try to tighten this set a little bit more, but they have to hold on for one more minute.
1 more minute is really all they need to hold off this push, and we see Wet Cod Empire had a very fast start, but NAUtical has been winning a lot of these fights at the tail end of it. Wet Cod Empire just needs to go back to what has worked for them. You have a lot more range. If you get punished a lot of these players, especially the Splash, this could be good news. The Bubbler's online, 2 already down. Enter the second checkpoint, DRF, and Wet Cod Empire, they're finding their groove once again. The Apex, they're there. Could we be seeing a lead flip?
Oh, but will they get there in time? No, they won't! It's gonna be a lead switch! And now with 35 seconds to play, there's still a player on their plat. Someone jumping in as well, and that's gonna be the wipeout. So 30 seconds to go. It is Wet Cod Empire with a 2-point lead, and NAUtical will now have to take this tower coast to coast if they want to stay alive.
That tower back in neutral should be around 13 seconds. They need to start pushing their advantages up ahead. Good, the Crab Tank, interesting timing on the Crab Tank there. The rest of the team needs to go up there and find something happen. The Crab does find one, but it's 2 members down, and with the respawns not really favoring NAUtical at this point in time. They're entering OT, DRF, and it's all the members going down. 3 down!
Oh, wait, no!
Oh, that's all it's gonna be. The jump was just late, and Wet Cod Empire swings it back. And good, they're up 3-0 in this set here, DRF.
Wow, I mean, what a crazy game there. That just felt like an entire movie, roller coaster, whatever you want to use as an analogy here. That was so crazy from start to finish. We see NAUtical just whiff the control of the tower early on, but continue to just play out of their minds as they got multiple number advantages, built up that lead going into the second half, but Wetcott Empire was not going to let up. And they managed to just find their groove once again, like you said, Keon, and really push that one back. I mean, they just threw everything they had into that last push and now find themselves up 3-0.
I mean, 1 minute left is still plenty of time to get that tower control going along. Like, all you need to do, your team does not need to panic. You've had a great push from the get-go. Sure, it ended with a wipeout. Sure, NAUtical took three opportunities to push that tower down to 24 points remaining. But all it matters is if you can follow it up with an even better push of your own, you take out a few members there, you take full advantage of the range against NAUtical, and that is what sealed it for Wetcott Empire. All the fights were going well for them, and that is how they took home that tower control map. And they gave NAUtical their first tower control loss of this season already.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that NAUtical really wanted that one. I think they were pretty confident in that as well. I think that, maybe that bit of confidence did shine through as we saw them all push up onto plat without the tower. And of course, as we ready up here, we are going to disconnect. So we'll get back into this lobby shortly. But Keon, I think there needs to be some sort of shift for NAUtical. I'm not sure, what that quite is yet. We did see those players really come to life, particularly with Vactal on that blaster. I think was such a key part of them getting the lead that we saw. Vactal is, I believe, third place in in Division 6. In KAD ratio at 2.95. So as a blaster player, that's actually really, really impressive to be able to maintain that level of killing power while minimizing the amount of deaths.
Absolutely, and I think that blaster, that NAUtical, I believe that you alluded to there on NAUtical's end there, if you could keep playing with that blaster, you've had some really good success on that third map alone on that museum tower control. Yes, it just wasn't fully finished by the all the way through, but you saw that there might be a sliver of success thing. We can actually build off of this. And yeah, as you mentioned, NAUtical has to likely change up their strategies now, as they're behind. They're probably in a position where they've never been before, being down 3-0. And in the regular season, it's usually the best of 7, so usually they don't have to go all the way through, but I don't know if they feel like they're ready to come back from behind like this.
Well, I will say there is one time that they did get pushed, and that was in week 2 against the Tentacoolers out of Cal Poly Pomona. And that was the only time that they have ever gone to a game 7. So now they're going to have to just draw on whatever they managed to utilize there for success and bring it into this set now. Although this set is a little bit more of a marathon, as we are, like you said, it's no longer best of 7, it's a best of 9. So this isn't match point yet. You still have just a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of opportunities to make mistakes, but of course that window is fast closing.
That, as you mentioned, that window is going to quickly slam shut if they can't, in my opinion, if they can't take home this crucial 4th map here on Scorch Gorge Rainmaker. Because if they drop this one, they have to just they have to go through the entire gauntlet of winning the next 5. That can be very tiring very fast. You definitely want to take home this map alone, and then give yourself a lot more breathing room to start recruiting yourself. Because yeah, losing 2 maps in any order is gonna drop you to I believe that 3rd place match or ending your season. I gotta recall there, but yeah, NAUtical, where's your change here at this point?
Well, let's see what they end up bringing out for us here as we proceed to Rainmaker. Both of these teams, once again, this is a mode that should favor NAUtical. They are 4-1. Wetcott Empire 2-5 in Rainmaker games. So they're gonna have back-to-back modes here that do favor them, but they weren't able to capitalize on one. They have to capitalize now.
So the change from NAUtical, we're going to highlight here the Wiper and the Tri-Nouveau. You got the Tactical and the Stamp in full play there. Also a quick respawn Wiper there as well. So you're going to need to play fast and aggressive. They take out 2 members already on Wet Empire. Make that the 3rd. Maybe this could be the time to shine if you are NAUtical. They're trying to pressure them out, and it will be what effectively will be a delayed wipe. Now it's your chance to paint towards that checkpoint. The Stamp is coming out here shortly. Oh, almost falling out of bounds. But that's all right. They get the first checkpoint. NAUtical does. And I think that's really all they wanted out of that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, with just 45 seconds into this game to be able to have that first checkpoint already cleared, that is going to be huge for them. As we now see Wetcott Empire able to pick up this Rainmaker, going to start to move this one forward, just inch by inch. Going to just start to try to add some points to the board and hopefully get a couple of picks. But so far they are struggling with that, as you know, we are starting to see NAUtical with this mode expertise advantage in working out in their favor so far, but the specials are going to come online and able to pick off 1, but it is a trade. The Rainmaker goes down, but that's going to be 3 down on the side of NAUtical. The Carbon's the last one standing, but there's only one other person around this Rainmaker, so they're going to go ahead and try to pick some fights here and try to keep this Rainmaker in the position that it is. Finally going to go down, and now this Rainmaker barrier will get popped as Wetcott Empire will pick this one up and start to move it forward once again.
That was a crucial find onto that Rainmaker because it actually bought enough time, really, for NAUtical to recuperate. If they did not get that pit, that could have easily be the first checkpoint. All things considered, hey, the Carbon Roller's trying to go ham, and I think that was a triple from that Carbon Roller. Incredible find there by NAUtical, of course, and now you can swing it the other direction. You break through the checkpoint. Now let's see if you can get a little bit more, but who's going to pick it up? And it will be the Tri-Nouveau.
Whale gonna start moving this one forward as well, but gonna get shut down very quickly. A great pick by Magna to be able to stop any potential bleeding there, but Fast once again, just clamping that ledge, trying to find some more picks, but not gonna be able to, get called out. So now, numbers advantage back in favor of Wetcott Empire. They're gonna go ahead and grab this Rainmaker once again. They have not been able to push this past this center platform at all in this game so far. Once again gonna go 3 down. It's just the Rainmaker, and they're gonna finally get shut down by Vactal. And now another opportunity for Northern Arizona here to start pushing up, adding more points to the board. They have not been able to move this Rainmaker past the first checkpoint since they claimed it in the first 45 seconds.
I mean, that was a huge turnaround there as well. And their screen members down. NAUtical looking to push even more advantages there. They got to get a little bit more as you can see, the Carbon Roller is trying to paint a path all the way in. They're trying to go way up ahead. That's still a lot of points remained, though, and that's still a very successful push if you are Northern Arizona. Yes, you dropped 3, but you just gave yourself a big cushion to work with.
Certainly, this is exactly what Northern Arizona needed to pull off here, and they find themselves in a great position here in game number 4 with yet another 3 down situation in their favor. They're gonna go ahead and pop this Rainmaker once more, but it looks like a stray bomb might have taken down a couple of members there. So now they're gonna pick up this Rainmaker, try to hold it in neutral position. They are backing up a little bit, which is a dangerous game to play, and they're gonna get shut down here, but 2 go down on the side of Wetcott Empire at the same time, and Fast continues to be on a tear here.
This is Fast's game to shine. What a game by Fast to be able to find some key picks onto Wetcott Empire and effectively slowing down that push to make sure that Wetcott Empire has no chance to get to the first checkpoint. And then, of course, I praise him a bit and then get caught by the Booyah Bomb. We're seeing 2 members down, though. This is going to be the first checkpoint. Things have gotten a lot more interesting here, DRF.
They certainly have 40 seconds to play. All members of Wetcott Empire up, and of course, as I say that, one of them goes down, make it 2, and into who else but Fast, able to shut down a couple of members here. 2 left up on the side of Wetcott Empire. People are jumping in, trying to keep this push alive. 2 members going down on the side of NAUtical as well. They're gonna make a move forward, and it's gonna be the splash going down. The Carbon's gonna go down. Will they stop it in time? Yes, they do. 15 seconds to play, and they're gonna try to pop the barrier. Will they get it? Yes, they will, but no lead. 5 seconds to play. Will NAUtical be able to hold this one? Yes, they will with the 3 down, and they will survive game 4.
Are you kidding me, DRF? I have several emotions just went through my head. That was an incredibly tense finish. Again, things got very dicey for NAUtical. Wet Cod Empire with huge pushes. Things just suddenly went from 1 to 100 for Wet Cod Empire. They were trying to run it all the way back. And as you saw, literally a game of inches. They just needed one more point. They needed to move up maybe 3 more steps. They could not flip the lead. What a tense finish, but NAUtical's finally on the board.
Oh my gosh, that was... I don't even know if what I said was coherent. That was...
Absolutely.
Keon, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, that was one of the craziest finishes we have seen so far this season, and NAUtical desperately needed that one and came up clutch when it mattered most. And now they tightened this lead in the set just a little bit, now within 2 games of Wet Cod Empire, and we are headed back to Clamblitz.
DRF, I don't know what else to comment on other than that was an absolute instant classic Rainmaker finish right at the tail minute. I think this is almost defined the set here. A couple maps going down to the last minute. That was incredibly tense. I think you can kind of get the feeling from both of these teams. You know, tensions are rising. The stress levels are just piling up. Literally a few more steps, as I mentioned before, that could have easily flipped the lead the other way. NAUtical at least holds. They can definitely take a deep breath and realize we've taken home this 4th map. We can now look forward to this 5th one. We've cut this lead down to 3-1, and NAUtical, they might be feeling this high though, but you gotta relax a little bit. There's still a huge mountain to climb with Wet Cod Empire up 3 maps here, up 3-1, and really, I mean, I don't know what else to say here, DRF. That was incredible.
Well, now NAUtical, they just need to continue to take this one game at a time. So here's the situation for them though. Clamblitz is coming up right now, game 5. After that, they go back to splat zones. Both of these were decisive games in favor of Wet Cod Empire. You have to take one of them. You have to. And that way you buy yourself an opportunity to play another tower control game and hopefully another Rainmaker game where you know you have a much stronger opportunity. But we have Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy, Keon, diving on in, and I think we might have missed a substitution is what's actually going to go on here.
That's what I'm getting the sense. Usually when you see a battle that just ended like there, we got a little excited and then realized, oh shoot, there might be a substitution error. I mean, I'm sure both teams are kind of just feeling just the incredible, just feeling that 4th map all overall. But yeah, now you kind of get the sense both teams kind of may need to start slowing down here. But to continue on your previous point, they need to win a few more maps here because yeah, they got Tower Control and Rainmaker coming up here in the queue. So if they can keep getting if they can win this map especially, they can at least extend the set just a bit. Hopefully they can get into their prized map mode in Tower Control and see if they can run it back.
Certainly. Man, I think both teams are gonna have to like you said, I think slow it down a little bit. I think the adrenaline is just pumping right now, and I do not blame them in the slightest. Like after that last game, even being on the losing end of that, your heart's going. You're like, dang, we were so close. And now you're gonna have to just recollect yourselves and put it together in a whole new map mode. Very different style here, Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy. So definitely for comp wise here, I think a lot of it's going to end up staying the same. I know a number of these players identify themselves as flex players. Vactal especially just has, I think, brought out a couple of different weapons so far in this set. So it's kind of just a guessing game as to who's going to bring out what. Although I know Fast has been just phenomenal on that Carbon Deco today. And I have a feeling that that's something that they're going to continue to stick with for sure. Inkblot Art Academy has some great ledgers that you can work with. And I certainly think that that's going to be a key point for NAUtical to try to come up with a victory here.
And on the other side of Wet Cod Empire, you know you're dealing with Inkblot Art Academy Clamblitz, so you know that Fast on that card roll was an absolute menace in that previous map there. So they have to just have to start looking around. And make sure that they shut down any ideas from Fast in terms of shutting down their team. So we're about to queue in right here. As you mentioned, the card roller's back again, and I like the fact that they stuck with the blaster here on the side of Northern Arizona. So well, pretty much as standard as it could be, really, between both of these teams.
Absolutely, as we do see the double roller blaster coming out, so it is going to be a little bit tricky for Northern Arizona here to get that paint on the ground. They're going to be very reliant on the Flingza's missiles and the splash to come up with all of this paint. So for now, it's going to be a little bit of an early struggle in mid as Northern Arizona not able to get the picks that they're looking for. Wetcott Empire in the driver's seat here and coming up with a couple of nice picks. The Hydra going to be kind of playing a little bit low here, an interesting position that's kind of working out for them, but the Flingza is barely going to be able to get that chip damage to shut that one down. And this is very reminiscent of Game 1 on Flounder Heights, where literally both of these teams are just kind of scrapping in mid. Nobody's got this advantage within the first minute.
I think we're just seeing almost the same script from that first game altogether, where they're just trying to see who can take control of mid, who can, and as you mentioned, get a feel for each other, and see if we can take out multiple members, which Wetcott Empire did drop a few. Is this our goal button? Is this our time to push? And this got a little dicey there for both of these teams. We're back to the insane brawling there. The power clam was picked up. I'm not sure if that would be the wisest thing, but the blaster might have other ideas though. Back to wisely retreating, knowing that it's just him alive, or them alive, excuse me, and then just trying to chuck it back and make sure it's in a safe position. So not trying to bite off more than they can chew. Just keeping that power clam safe. Never a bad idea.
Absolutely, as now Wetcott Empire with a fantastic defensive hold there, despite going 3 down. So now they're just going to try to find a way out of it. Plat, as we do see a bit of a bloodbath take place here. 2 members going down on either side. It's going to be down to 1 player on either side now. So Spartan is going to be chased by these missiles, having to back up. And once again, we're back to a neutral game. 2 minutes into this one, and at this rate, it might be the first team to score is going to win.
Yeah, we could be seeing the classic 1-push victory here. Actually, we may take that back here because they get a quick wipeout, and now they're carving a path up ahead. We see 2 power clamps in, and I believe they're going to cash in on both of them. So as we mentioned, things were about to slow down, and Northern Arizona decided to turn it up to 100, and they cash in on 2 power clamps, DRF. We mentioned before, things were starting to slow down. Northern Arizona's just trying to tell us, take that. We're going to start our own push. We're going to take out 4 on the side of Wetcott Empire.
Oh, and take a look at Fast trying to make another move here. They're going to lose 2 of their players. So might have just gotten a little bit too aggressive there. And now Wetcott Empire with 18 clams in tow, going to be making a move here, but 2 of them go down. It's going to be the Flingza and the Blaster that come up big here. So now this is going to be multiple players going down once again, but this time the battlefield is the Plat of Northern Arizona, and they are going to somehow come out of this without a point scored by Wetcott Empire. But once again, Wetcott Empire just continuing to hold on to mid in a great way here. And 2 down one more time. I think that's going to end this push. And NAUtical looking to make another push of their own in response.
Importantly, NAUtical retakes mid and then makes sure they can get farm with even more clamps. That was a good idea by Wetcott Empire, using the Big Bubbler and the Wave Breaker together, but the positioning of the Wave Breaker and the Big Bubbler made it so that NAUtical, yes, we're going to play a little bit more defensively. We know you have to leave that Big Bubbler for you to cash in, and just some great patient play there, just shutting down any ideas of that push from happening. And Wetcott Empire, just if the special were placed a little bit better, they would have been a lot more devastating, but instead it leads to no push. But right now, Wetcott Empire trying to push right in, and oh no, the power clamp is just short, and Wetcott Empire is wiped.
Oh, and they're trying to juggle the footballs here, so they're not going to be able to get a push off in response. But a great defensive hold once again by Northern Arizona, as they were able to force that wipe there, and 2 of them go down as they were starting to just try to, sniff around underneath the plat of Wetcott Empire, see if there was any openings, and 2 of them go down simultaneously. So now Wetcott Empire trying to gather up the clams here, but no, they're gonna lose 2 in response as well. It's just 2 for 2 every single time between these 2 teams, and we've still only seen 1 push, but here comes possibly the second out of NAUtical, but no, they're gonna back off one more time, realize that this has to be a defensive game from here in the closing 15 seconds.
Yeah, don't bite off more than you can chew, NAUtical. I've already said that a couple times, but it's absolutely correct here because it's not a safe lead. So NAUtical, you gotta play a lot more defensively. Make sure you don't get yourself caught out in bad position, and definitely make sure you can punish the rest of Wetcon Empire. It's still an absolute brawl, but the power clam is pretty much protected in that big bubbler there, but the big bubbler's kind of in a very strange position, and right now we're seeing NAUtical trying to shut down that pathway. The roller does drop though. Poopy and everybody else is just trying to climb up ahead, but it's all the juggling there. We do see 3 more, but they ran out of time, DRF, and NAUtical has climbed back to make this 3-2 up in the set.
They have, in fact, climbed back into this one, now only down by 1 game. So this is a much more manageable set for NAUtical now. It seemed like that it was just a really rough beginning for them. I mean, Wetcon Empire was playing out of their minds in those first 3 games. I think NAUtical just needed that time to really figure out how to play against this team. Because clearly this might have just been an opponent that they've really never seen anyone like Wetcon Empire so far.
Oh, absolutely. Wetcon Empire has apparently dished NAUtical just a big punch there. As I mean, Wetcon Empire up 3-0 to set down. NAUtical climbed back into the next 2. I now flip this the other direction for Wetcon Empire. Yes, you're up 3-2, but you might be getting the sense that this set might be slipping away from you. You still have plenty of maps up ahead, but yeah, you don't want to let this fall away, and don't let NAUtical rather keep up with that momentum. That 4th map victory with that in that back and forth Rainmaker map has carried on to us to a great Clan Blitz victory. You kind of get the sense here, DRF. You know, NAUtical might have figured out Wetcon Empire, so Wetcon Empire, they need to find some adjustments.
They do. They certainly do. I mean, now they're kind of getting pushed back. They still have the advantage in this set, but they let a couple of games go. But now just, you know, take yourself back to game number 2. Splat Zone's Mako Mart, how dominant you were in that game. You know, you need to figure out how to channel that here for Splat Zone's Brine Water. Now, interesting fact here, neither of these teams have played Splat Zone's Brine Water this season. That was game number 5 during week 1. And both of those teams were part of sweeps in game 1. NAUtical sweeping their opponent, Wetcon Empire being on the losing end of a sweep. So neither team got to play this one so far this season. This is the first time they're seeing it in a CCA setting.
I mean, if this is a time to ever get the introduction to Brine Water Springs, it has to be during playoffs. Now you have to start figuring out. Okay, now in a set match, or excuse me, a map where this is still alive and we can still take it back. What is your strategy for Brine Water Springs Splat Zones? This is in my opinion, this is a very long-range happy map. We could be seeing from what Wetcon Empire has dished out the same 2 backline weapons that they had, but maybe NAUtical might be trying to throw them off their game. Again, look out for Fast with that Carbon Roller and Backdoll on that blaster from previous go-rounds. It has been the success so far in the past 2. Let's see if they can replicate here and see if NAUtical can tie up the set.
Certainly. I mean, and on the side of Wetcon Empire, you know, Poofy's definitely been making an impact so far, leading their team in average KA at 12.1. That's 7th in Division 6. So they're going to have to really start to up the aggression again, like we did see in those first couple of games. And I think that's going to really have to run through both Poofy and Spartan, who have been leading this team all season long in that department.
If this is a time for Wetcon Empire to strike back, Poofy and Spartan will need to show up, and I had to take a pause here because Backdoll is dishing the X-Splosher, which I absolutely like overall, and then Poofy onto the Octobrush especially.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of really interesting adjustments that I was not anticipating. Like we said, folks, a lot of the players on both of these teams do say that they are flex players, so they do not stick to any one weapon or any 2 or 3 weapons, really. They have Sheldon's entire artillery, you know, at their disposal here.
Yup. Yes, so Wetcon Empire dishing out the Octobrush, which I absolutely like, especially in Brine Water. With the way this terrain works, you can completely throw them off their game. And as I mentioned, the Octobrush, if you could take advantage of that Zipcaster, you could turn this around for Wetcon Empire. But in this case, the Octobrush gets shot down altogether. But where is the return push from NAUtical? They're still being pressured out with all the specials that were being thrown in. And right now, Wetcon Empire, they're still retaining this point. Now this point is back to neutral, and NAUtical flips it the other way. Lots of penalty punch for Wetcon Empire, and it buys NAUtical a lot of time.
It certainly does. Man, it's a little bit of a scrappy fight here. It's going to be the Flings that finally is able to go down. And this zone just so small, so easy to flip. It's not going to take much for Wetcott Empire to get back in here and neutralize and get the flip like we're seeing right now as they're able to pick off... no, sorry, not able to pick off anybody. They actually lose 2 of their own, but they still flipped it. I mean, that just goes to show you the chaos that is Bridewater zones.
Welcome to Bridewater Zones, everybody. The chaos continues to fly, and that's what we are seeing between these 2 teams here. 2 members, by the way, dropping on the side of NAUtical. The Optirush needs to continue to find value. We've seen the Optirush trying to find some picks with the Zipcaster, but just not able to find anybody, and NAUtical is able to collapse in, trying to shut down the Optirush as much as possible. Hoopy again on the Optirush once again, and this time Hoopy does find one, and this is going to extend the push because 2 members have dropped on the side of Northern Arizona. We are going to be seeing Wetcott Empire likely coming out of the penalty points here unless the Trizuka says otherwise, and the Trizuka does go down. They're out of the penalty points here, DRF.
They are, and take a look at this. It's 3 down again on the side of NAUtical, but Wetcott Empire not able to hold control, finally able to reestablish the zone here. My apologies. So 20 points remaining, and they are looking to secure a knockout here in the same fashion that we saw in game 2. But the neutral coming from NAUtical, can they flip the zone? No, it's gonna go back in favor of Wetcott Empire, who will ride this one out for a KO, putting themselves up 4-2.
It's match point this time for Wetcott Empire, and they made this Bridewater Splat Zone's composition work. Excellent play all around. Yes, things got a little shaky there at the tail end of that one, but Wetcott Empire, they stuck to the script. They're able to find out a few, and I'd like to highlight this one. Poopy with a crucial pick, and then following up with another member down, and it just continued to snowball from there. Wetcott Empire would take control the rest of the way through. Yes, yes, at a few points, things were back to neutral, but Wetcott Empire had to make sure we got to keep that zone in our control. We do not want to go back to those penalty points again.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I will put it like this. NAUtical did exactly what they needed to do.
Yep.
Obviously, in an unideal situation, they were down 3-1 going back into Clam Blitz. They managed to get at least one of those Clam Blitz and Splat Zones games. That was the objective. So now they find themselves on the tough side of a match point, having to win 3 games to close out this set. But Splat Zones, I believe, is in fact NAUtical's worst mode. That is all behind them now. There are no more Splat Zones in this set. Tower control, they're still their best mode despite losing in game 3. They're gonna have an opportunity here to once again close this set within 1. And Rainmaker as well, Wetcott Empire's by far worst mode. They're gonna have an opportunity to try to get 2 in their favor back to back. But of course, we did see Wetcott Empire win game 3, tower control on Museum de Alfonsino, so...
We've seen a lot of crazy things in this set, and as you mentioned, Wetcott Empire gave NAUtical their first loss in a tower control map combination in Museum del Alfonso, and it happened this playoff. So NAUtical has to go back to what has worked in previous tower control maps here. And I'll give NAUtical this: they lost at the tail 30 seconds of that match alone, and they weren't in the lead for a decent chunk of it. But you got to make sure to retain that lead the entire way through. And if you can go back and figure out what is Wetcott Empire's weaknesses so far, you got a good feel after 6 of these maps here. Onto this one in Hagelfish Market Tower Control. It's got to be your time to shine. You got to make this work. This is literally your chance to make finals, but you got to win the next 3 to do so, and this is the time to do it.
I do think comp-wise here, Wetcott Empire does have the advantage actually, because if NAUtical comes out with this double roller blaster comp once again, so no, it's going to go down to 1 roller. But even then, it could be a little bit difficult for the Carbon to thrive in the same way that we've seen them thriving, just because there's not as many ledges and great positions for Fast to have to work with. I think the agility of Magna and Poofy here is going to play into their favor, actually. So Wetcott Empire, I'm going to put them as the slight favor going into this game.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, Wetcott Empire's already taken full advantage. Where's the rest of Northern Arizona, though? they're being spread across the board, having to deal with the other members of Wet Cod Empire. Magna already on this tower, onto this first checkpoint, and yeah, and as you mentioned, Wet Cod Empire, with the way that they're playing this tower control map all together with that big butler and everything else, they've already made it past this first checkpoint, and they're trying to ride this one through to possibly the set.
Oh my goodness. What a momentum shift here as we see Wet Cod Empire just take full control of this game, and now they're within knockout territory. One checkpoint stands between them and grand finals at this point, and now it's going to be 2 down on the side of Wet Cod Empire, possibly the 3rd going down as well, but no, the players are going to be backing up here. It looks like NAUtical is going to try to chase a couple of them down, but they get pushed all the way back to mid. But what an opening push by Wet Cod Empire. 16 points remaining is going to be tough to overcome, but certainly not impossible.
Definitely not impossible. Still a lot of time left. I mentioned in most of these cases, no reason to panic yet. You can still run it back the other way. Wet Cod Empire, DRF, they have dropped 3. This is now NAUtical's time to get a counter push of their own. See if they can flip it in the other direction. But at the same time, NAUtical loses 2, so it slows it down by a bit. But if it gives the time for NAUtical to fight back, and look at this blaster. I think that's back on this blaster, picking on a few more. So this push will continue on, DRF.
It will, and Soda's just gonna go ahead and camp on this tower, try to break through this long checkpoint here. Magna gonna make a move for the tower though, and they're not gonna be able to find one. Gonna somehow live through that bomb there. 2 members down on the side of Wet Cod Empire. Make that the 3rd, and that is a delayed wipe there. So now NAUtical, with that first checkpoint clear, are gonna be able to make a move and try to close this gap once again. They are in a fantastic position to do so. The charge is gonna go down. The crab is out. If they can shut down Spartan here, which they do, they're gonna be in a great spot. And it's gonna be the 2nd checkpoint that might go down here. Vactal gonna jump in right at the right time. And now it's a 1v1. Vactal versus the Charger. Support gonna be coming in from both sides. And my goodness, what a scrappy fight here as Wet Cod Empire is gonna shut down this push. But it is only a 13-point game now.
NAUtical is still fighting, as we mentioned before, not impossible, but they have to make sure they find some of these key picks. Look at the side of Wet Cod Empire. They had 4 specials farmed. If they use these specials correctly, we could be seeing things flip the other direction. That is what Wet Cod Empire is doing. They're coordinating all these specials in right now. The ink back being chucked out. There's a big baller for protection, but there's the key pick. It's Fast. Fast takes out the guy in the tower, and however, Spartan's back in it. And I think this jump might get punished. Not quite, but it does buy NAUtical some time to work with here, though. And it will be what should effectively be the push being stalled.
No way Clip actually got a double from that. Jumping in as a charger onto the tower and got 2 picks. And that's going to severely slow down NAUtical in these last minute and a half. But it looks like 2 players from Wet Cod Empire pushing up big time. Soda is going to start to move up with this tower a little bit, start to play behind enemy lines, going to get shut down, but is able to take down the Charger with them. And that's going to slow down Wet Cod Empire in a bit of a retaliation push here, trying to extend this a little bit longer. So with a minute to go, this could really go either way at this point.
Yeah, this is still a lot of back and forth at this point. It's going to be a huge fight that can swing the momentum this time in tower control. You Wet Cod Empire, you don't need to play super aggressive. You have a huge lead, but at the same time, though, if you can shut down members left and right on the side of Northern Arizona, this could be flipping the other direction. And at this point, Wet Cod Empire is shutting down team members right now into Northern Arizona, but it is a scrappy fight, as you mentioned. Here's the AFAC being used, but it's 3 members down the AFAC mainly for protection there, but Fast is trying to keep Northern Arizona hopes alive, and it's still turning out to be scrappy, but the more this fight continues on, the more it continues to favor Wet Cod Empire, in my opinion.
It certainly does, Keone. 15 seconds to go. Wet Cod Empire riding this tower, and Fast is going to come on and be able to shut down that
This is your chance.
BDS. So with 5 seconds to go, we will see overtime. All members back online. Spartan is gonna go ahead and hang out to the right side of this tower, and they're gonna get the 1 pick, and they will jump on the tower, and Wet Cod Empire is headed to the Division 6 finals.
Congratulations, Wet Cod Empire, on taking out NAUtical, and this is a big Shocking result, I will say, because this was NAUtical undefeated set record in the regular season, but could not solve the riddle of Wetcott Empire. That entire map, Wetcott Empire, one push at the very beginning as they swung the momentum in their direction. All you needed to do if you're Wetcott Empire, play very defensively and just take it all the way home. And yeah, they punched their ticket to Division 6 Grand Finals, and I am just out of words here, DRF. What a set we have seen so far.
Honestly, I think that Rainmaker Scorch game is gonna live forever in my head rent-free.
Yup.
I mean, if NAUtical can take, you know, one big positive from this set, it's gonna be that game. I think that was just that was a crazy game. You know, and it went in their favor. But Wetcott Empire, the stars of the show today, as they just managed to piece it together brilliantly as a team. You know, I don't think there was really any one player that, you know, stood up and delivered on behalf of the team. It was just such a cohesive unit that they were able to make moves together, move that objective, no matter what the mode was, and be able to find those key positions, work together, find those 2v1s as well, and be able to get the picks when they mattered most. I mean, we saw some great performances by individuals on NAUtical, but Wetcott Empire, I mean, kudos to them. They really played as a team today.
I mean, how about that for Wetcott Empire? The fact of the matter is, you had a very you come home as the second seed, and you take out the #1 seed in, I believe, Division 6A, if I'm not mistaken. On that side, NAUtical was undefeated. They've only dropped 5 maps all regular season, and Wetcott Empire effectively doubled their map loss in this set alone. Yeah, and it's pretty much what you mentioned. It was a team effort the entire way through from Wetcott Empire. The fact that they were able to take all of the opportunities they can, the minute they take down 3 or even 4 on wipeouts, it just swung it the other way. And I'm sure from that Scorch Rainmaker map, which will continue to live rent-free in my head as well here, DRF, you kind of got the sense that things were kind of slipping away, but they definitely adjusted after dropping the next 2 after that Rainmaker map, and they took it all the way home to win the set 5-2. Just incredible performances from them.
Certainly. Man, I don't. Wetcott Empire needs to pat themselves on the back. I mean, it's been a very tough regular season. You're barely above 500 in individual games here, going 14-13 into these playoffs. I mean, now that certainly has expanded in their favor. Total games now in their favor, 19-15. After this victorious effort against NAUtical. So now it looks like we will be having a play all 9 from the looks of it, although I don't think this is the correct map, but maybe they'll play it out anyways. No, I think they're gonna reset this one. So
I think the excitement of a little bit of the excitement or some figuring out of, wait, what was the 8th map again? Maybe just a little bit of deliberation there, but I think, yeah, as you mentioned, I think they're gonna play all 9 in fun CCA tradition. Now, I personally have not seen a play all 9 in CCA tradition, so this is gonna be fun for me. But yeah, I love the CCA tradition just like anybody else here in the CCA, and I think they might have been a little too excited there in that Rainmaker map. They might have gotten a little too into the tradition right out of the gate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
But this should be Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway, which, low-key, I kind of wish this was still part of the set, because Rainmaker Undertow games tend to be very exciting. In my opinion, one of the best map modes for spectator. It's just so much fun with the different strategies you could take here. Every time I feel like I watch Rainmaker Undertow, I see something that I had not seen before. So, you know, we still might get that here. Who knows? Given whatever comps these teams might end up pulling out, but it's a very fun map mode in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoy being able to watch these.
I mean, I've seen things that I wasn't prepared to see before in map 6 with Brine Water Zone. So, as you mentioned, if I might be in for a treat if they throw a massive curveball here for all of us here, us two, Chad, of course, in Undertow Spillway Rainmaker, and I'm just really excited to see what both teams want to do in, again, this CCA tradition that we have.
Certainly. Well, let's take a look as these teams get readied up. Gonna change some comps, it seems. And, you know, it's a play all at this point. You know, what?
Yep.
Might as well just throw it out there. Whatever you've wanted to play in a CCA setting, do it now. Of course, neither of these teams' season is quite over yet. Wetcott Empire, as we said, will be moving on to Grand Finals. They await the winner of West Virginia University, who are taking on the Octocutioners. I believe that set is going to be going on Sunday. I will confirm that in a moment. But NAUtical, they're going to be playing for that third place title as well against the loser of that same set. But here we go into our play all 9. A very early Rainmaker pop by NAUtical, and they are once again in control, taking advantage of this interesting comp, I would say.
I was gonna say, don't look now, DRF and the rest of chat. We have a Gootuber. Wetcott Empire is dishing out a Gootuber. I have a lot of questions, but this is, after all, the CCA tradition, so pretty much anything for me goes at this point. But they're starting to get a little punished here. Here's the Rainmaker coming out here on the side of NAUtical, and I think all my attention was originally turning to see if the Gootuber can make advantages. I'm not gonna see that anymore. They win this 8th map. That was a very quick Rainmaker map, all things considered. Nothing really materializing for Wetcott Empire in that 8th map. NAUtical takes it home.
Certainly, you know, they put it out there. They put the YouTuber and the tent out there.
Absolutely.
That was a comp.
Okay, so what's cooking here? Can we make the Gootuber and the tent work in an actual set? We gotta try it out here in this Rainmaker one. They saw the results for themselves. Okay, granted it was against NAUtical's composition. Maybe in another team they would throw out something different, but you may want to stash the Gootuber in the tent elsewhere. Maybe it may not work for you without Fast and Unraveled, but I like the effort. I like the effort though. It just didn't pan out.
No, I think you double down. You go double Gootuber, double tent,
my goodness.
Going into this last one on Clanless Eeltail.
You know, okay, so, a little story for you, DRF. I've seen Eeltail, not specifically Clan Blitz, but Eeltail. There was a set I had, I believe, a couple weeks ago, where instead they went with Eeltail Tower Control, which went off script there, and they decided to both teams decided to do angle shooter subs only, and just completely gave everybody a show here. Now, that was an actual thing. I can attest to this. You have to trust me here, chat, on that one. But I mean, it looks like though from both these teams in Eeltail Alley Clan Blitz, they maybe have some more sensible choices. Though I'm gonna be curious of what kind of approach I'm gonna try to cook up something different for us in this CCA tradition.
I mean, the tent is just broken in this game. Like, Brellas are broken, you know.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple of updates. Nintendo's not done anything about it. Like, let's be honest. It's spelled Brella because they've taken 2 L's in a row now so far in the life of Splatoon 3. There's no way around that. But I feel like the tent actually makes some sense here on Clan Blitz Eeltail. If they do want to actually bring that back out and start cooking with it once again, I would not be surprised. So, yeah, we'll have to see. It is the last game of this play, all 9. So anything goes. Let's have some fun and find out what these teams deliver.
The big surprise is if they actually went insane comps from both of these, and then they're just treating it like a regular game here. Well, we do see some same weapons on NAUtical, so okay, there we go. Everything seems to be neutral again. They decided to throw us off with the Gootuber and the tent last time. Now they're starting to realize, let's put this away. Let's now treat this as an actual 9th map here in the Intertradition, of course. I do like the 96 Deco though showing up in this map, all things considered.
Certainly. The 96 deck, I think, is a fantastic choice. The Kraken going to be able to really open things up under the basket for NAUtical if they do get that opportunity. But they are getting pushed back big time right now. But it's going to be the Wiper with a beautiful double there. So now this will be the first points on the board for Wetcott Empire, who is going to look to finish this set off strong after that game that just happened before.
I think they want to put the Gootuber tent composition a little behind them, and they want to definitely end this on a much better note than that. But I think NAUtical wants to ride off that high and want to punish the idea of using that Gootuber and tent in an actual map there. and they do. And let's see if they have a counter push of their own. NAUtical, that is. They do have a power claim available, but they are getting pushed out a bit by Wetcott Empire. We do see the Wetcott Empire just asserting a lot of control around this mid and their territory. But as soon as they say that, the Stamper finds one. The stamp, that is.
Ooh, and there goes another. And my goodness, this hammer is able to really open things up now for NAUtical. And this is going to be their first score of the game, but the second power climb does get shut down. Will they be able to get that one in? Yes, they will. And somehow the Wiper's going to be able to back out of this one too. I am kind of surprised by that. They were just not in a great position there. Wetcott Empire was completely surrounding them.
Shifty moves there by the Wiper, nearly getting themselves in bad territory there by Wetcott Empire, but able to just quickly move their way out. I was thinking the same thing too. I thought they were gonna get punished but it looks like 3 members have dropped on the side of Wetcott Empire, and now NAUtical is just trying to make sure they end this one on a higher note. We do see, though, it looks like delayed wipeout. I might have missed that one on the side of Wetcott Empire, but it looks like NAUtical taking this one a little bit slower, though. Trying to farm up probably more clams, see if they can get an even better push.
Certainly. They do have a decent lead here. Getting under 60 remaining is a great first push, but when your opponent has already been able to get 20 points on the board, that's certainly not safe by any measure. And we've seen Wetcott Empire in dominant fashion be able to just really open up some leads here. And come back from some pretty big deficits as well. So you know that it is never safe when Wetcott Empire is on the other side so far. 16 clams to their name at this point, but the hammer's gonna come in with a big double.
That is a great double on the side of NAUtical. They're just excellent. Hammer Houston, that's a wipeout. Oh my goodness there. And that is going to hopefully kickstart a big push there from NAUtical, trying to make sure that they can keep this one going. Just excellent moves with the stamp overall on the Wiper to make this one happen. And I'm a little surprised here. It looks like things didn't seem to fall into fruition. Again, it's likely because of Eeltail Alley's terrain itself. The fact that the side of Wetcott Empire can just quickly swim back in and then just assert control back. That's probably what slowed down this push. And yeah, they're still having to play a lot more defensively, but still great finish there from NAUtical to at least stop an attempted Wetcott Empire push.
As now we do see 2 power clams on the side of NAUtical, but the 2 power clam carriers get shut down, make it 3 down. This Booyah Bomb gonna try to help find the 4th, not gonna be able to do so. Last one standing underneath the basket, trying to buy time for their team to get back in, which they do, but the power clam still manages to slip on in there. And that is going to result in a nice push here. And this is a 1v1, and Spartan's gonna win this one out. But there are no clams on the field for Spartan to extend this one. They did have 1 clam, somehow actually found another one. And now a lot of clams are gonna be able to come in here for Wetcott Empire. There's the power clam. Wow, I mean, a great find by Spartan there to win that 1v1 and find a couple of stray clams to keep this open for their team.
You called it right there. Look, the rest of Wetcott Empire able to take on NAUtical there on a wipeout versus 3. And as you mentioned, great dueling there from Spartan, I believe, on the T-Tech to make it happen. And yet Wetcott Empire able to swing it back to lead the other direction. I felt like this has defined the entire set. Leads being flipped in the last minute or so, and that is what we have saw yet again in this 9th map. We do see the hammer, coming out here trying to stamp something for the rest of NAUtical, but ultimately shut down. We could be seeing a big push here though with this Kraken. Here we go.
No! How did they get the wipeout in that setting? What? That should be illegal. I don't know what just happened, but somehow Wetcott Empire, in what should have been an easy 2-clam push for NAUtical, was able to shut that down before it gets started. What?
I need to check the tapes on that. I'm sure you do too, because yeah, that was an attempted Kraken push with 2 power clams. It was basically a desperation push, basically from NAUtical to at least end this one on a better note. But by the end of all that, the Wetcott Empire just collapsed on where the Kraken was. I believe they may have saw where the Kraken was altogether and just trucked everything on what was pretty much a telegraphed Kraken jump, and that is exactly what happened there. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. And yeah, as you mentioned, I don't know how they got the wipeout in that situation where the Kraken was.
Yeah, I really don't know either, Keon. But a great note to end on for Wet Cod Empire. This will go down in the books as a 5-2 victory in their favor. So by the standings as well, a big upset here in Division 6 semifinals. So congratulations to Wet Cod Empire. They will be moving on to grand finals, which will be taking place next week. They await the winner of WVU versus Octocutioners. I'm sure Wet Cod Empire is kind of looking at that WVU rematch. That was an opponent that they faced in week 1 and got swept. But now Wet Cod Empire seems to have found their stride in the back half of this season. So I'm sure, you know, WVU is an enticing matchup for them to try to get a little bit of revenge. But at the same time, I don't think they'd be quite mad either if Octocutioners were to take down WVU. And now you have both second seeds fighting for that grand finals, in that grand final, looking for a Division 6 championship.
I mean, for the other matchup you mentioned with WVU versus Octocutioners, if you're the number 1 seeded WVU entering that one, you may need to start sweating here because the second place teams might start showing up. So Octocutioners, as you mentioned, maybe a big surprise. Maybe Octocutioners could pull off the upset in that best of 9 matchup, which should be, as you mentioned, will be coming up tomorrow. But I mean, really, for Wet Cod Empire, I mean, an excellent set all around. Just being able to solve NAUtical there, just taking that entire set by storm, winning the first 3. Yes, things got very hairy there on what a classic Rainmaker map and the following Clan Blitz, but they regrouped and then started realizing, okay, we can start taking this one home. We finally found our stride again, and that's exactly what happened there. A 5-2 set victory for Wet Cod Empire on the grand finals, and to NAUtical's point, NAUtical itself, a third-place matchup, if I'm not mistaken, DRF, will be awaiting them, and they'll be the loser of that WVU versus Octocutioner match. So for NAUtical, you can still end this one on a higher note in a third-place match, if it happens.
Certainly. So, you know, there's still a lot of pride to be fought for there.
Absolutely.
So I think it's, you know, keep your head in the game. Try to finish the season off strong, because that is going to, you know, be able to make some waves going into potentially season 4 in the fall. So yeah, definitely try to close this one out strong. But Wet Cod Empire will be your winners tonight. So congratulations to them one more time. And with that, that will conclude this set and conclude our matches for today. It's just a one and done. But tomorrow we will be having a double header. That will be in Division 5, Goomies taking on Life Could Bradley Dream, and that's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And Division 3, it is a UT Austin in-house matchup. Nightfall taking on Daybreak right after at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Those are going to be 2 fantastic matchups ahead. I'm so looking forward to it, and I'm sure that these teams are as well, particularly these UT Austin teams. I don't think we have ever seen 2 teams from the same university face off in a CCA league. This will be a first.
I mean, for Nightfall and Daybreak, which UT Austin team will take the mantle and carry their respective Division 3 game to a grand final? I'm gonna be that is the matchup I'm actually really excited to watch here too. But also for Goomies and Life Could Bradley Dream, I'll be able to speak words eventually here too. That one's also gonna be intriguing there from a Division 5 standpoint as well. So both matchups are gonna be so much fun to watch tomorrow. So keep an eye out when those matches go live.
Certainly. So that is going to do it for us here. Keon, thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and plug yourself. Where can the people of our chat find you?
As always, I'm Keon2570. You can follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. Pretty much the same avenues. Twitter is just a combination of many different postings of me, and Twitch, yeah, exactly. Twitch is just a variety. I do stream Splatoon though as well occasionally, and then I also do some other stuff. So you can find me there. Where can people find you, DRF?
You can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch, TritonDRF. But as always, you can find me more often here on the CCA Twitch channel covering all things collegiate Splatoon. That is going to do it for us here today in this Division 6 semifinals. Wet Cod Empire is your winner 5-2. We will see you all tomorrow as we continue to see some of these semifinal matches. You do not want to miss it. See you then.